And now, it's time for LBX, Leader by Example, a program that introduces you to members of the Truman State and Kirksville community who are working to make a difference.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Morgan Simpson. Today, LBX takes you up close and personal with Jane Munson of Pickler Memorial Library. Welcome, Jane. We're glad you're with us.
I'm happy to be here.
Jane Munson works in Pickler Memorial Library's Special Collections section and manages the growing digital collections of texts available for use at Pickler as the section's digital projects librarian. So Jane, how did you first get involved with digital studies?
I went back to school for graduate studies in library science, and I enrolled in a program that was specifically tailored for digital library studies. So while I was in school, I got experience working on digital library projects. And from there, after I graduated, I came here.
And what were the most interesting parts of your career choice?
I really enjoy being able to work with rare and unusual special collections and archives materials, being able to handle and digitize very old things like manuscripts from the 15th century and things like that. And I also enjoy being able to work with computers and doing things like web design and programming and things like that. So it's a really interesting combination.
And so are you still in the process of digitizing the special collections section?
Well, we won't be digitizing the entire special collections. We've started with a set number of collections, and we're going to continue to digitize more over time. But we can't do everything, so we have to choose certain collections to do.
So are there any digital texts that are available for student use right now?
Well, there will be very soon. We're just on the cusp of launching our Truman State Digital Library site. So there's 4 collections currently in that site, and we will be adding more in the future.
What do you suspect will most students use in the digital collection section?
Right now, I would think that people would be really interested in our collection of Gold Rush letters, which are manuscripts of correspondence from the 1850s. And also we have some music collections currently online. There's vintage sheet music, and there's also some popular music from the early 1900s. So I think that those could be really popular with students.
Now, is there a field that specializes in digital texts?
I don't believe there's a field that specializes in it, but I would say that history and maybe art history students and researchers are more, have a tendency to use it more. But really, anybody who's interested in literature or history can find something in the digital collections.
And what benefits do you see with digital preservation over traditional preservation?
There are many benefits. Digital preservation helps to preserve the original materials. So if you take something that's very old and fragile and one of a kind and digitize it and put it online, then that can therefore cut back on the number of people that actually are coming in to handle the materials, and this can prolong the life of the materials.
Now, what are some of the differences between digital preservation and traditional preservation?
Digital preservation is much more, I should say, less hands-on than traditional preservation. With traditional preservation, you're really working with like mending bindings of books and trying to keep the originals from deteriorating. I'm not a specialist in that, but that's something that our other archivist does. With digital preservation, you're more concerned with managing digital files and making sure that those don't deteriorate over time and that you are able to access them in the future. And this is important because with hardware and software changing over time, you might have problems accessing your digital files if you don't, say, migrate them to different...
I'm sorry, Jane, that's all the time we have for today. Our guest today, Jane Munson, is a true leader by example because of her contributions to the Pickler Memorial Library and its special collections sections. Thank you for joining us today, and please be sure to join us next week as we meet another Truman leader by example.
LBX, Leader by Example, is a feature presentation of the broadcast production class COM 355. This has been a Truman Media Network production.